Welcome to this Tutor to You Sociology topic video looking at beliefs in society, focusing on social class and religion. In the UK, social class divisions in religious practice reveal contradictory data. Despite the upper classes being overrepresented in attendance at religious services, a YouGov poll in 2015 found lower levels of beliefs in the middle classes than the working class. While this can be explained through levels of education and social expectations, we need to examine closely why this is the case. In this video, we're going to look at the different types of religious organisations that different social classes attend, and some of the theoretical explanations behind these trends. In terms of social class and the types of organisation, research into the UK and USA has found that lower social classes are more likely to gravitate towards religious organisations that promote social changes, such as cults, sects, and more progressive denominations. Meanwhile, the middle classes, whilst some remain with more traditional religions due to the status they are afforded within those, also comprise a large part of the membership of New Age movements, including clan cults. This can be seen to be a result of greater individualism and a desire for personal fulfillment. Sects, on the other hand, are more diverse, with younger, more affluent individuals seeking out personal fulfillment, whilst those who are most deprived often look to sects as a form of alternative survival in society. However, whilst there has been a growth in new religious movements, a pattern of secularisation across the lower social classes has left many disenchanted and turned away from religious practices. One of the key theorists to examine when looking at social class and religion is undoubtedly Marx. He argued that religion acted as a conservative force and provided people with a brief respite from the effects of alienation, but did little to encourage social change. Marx famously saw religion as the opium of the masses, putting down revolutionary fervour and controlling the behaviour of the lower classes. Other Marxists, however, did not completely agree with Marx's sentiments. Whilst both Gramsci and Engels saw religion as passing on the dominant ideology of the ruling class, they both suggested that religion could be a revolutionary force, and as such the working classes may be drawn to religion. However, it can be argued that the decline in religious attendance is a symbol of people rejecting ruling class ideologies, and as such explains the lower attendance of the working class at religious organisations in post-industrial society. Weber, on the other hand, suggested that religious belief was influenced by an individual's status in society. He argued that for the less affluent in society, they opted for theodicies of misfortune, whose religion, such as Catholicism, that promoted wealth as a sin and that the afterlife being a reward for suffering in this life, were attractive. For the more affluent, they opted for theodicies of good fortune, such as Protestantism, that saw wealth as a reward from God, and hard work as a virtue that was admirable. For Weber, the Protestant Reformation helped to spread the message of capitalism by promoting ideas of wealth accumulation as being a sign of being blessed by God, a concept which explains the higher levels of upper-class attendance at religious ceremonies. In explaining the declining beliefs of the middle class, Hunt argued that higher levels of education and more liberal ideologies have caused the middle classes to become less religious. Through virtue of their education, the middle class were more focused on rational and scientific thinking, whilst also seeking out personal fulfillment in order to maximise their potential. As a result, more turned towards New Age movements in the late 20th century and adopted practices from these as part of their identity. This was fueled by the growing individualism of the middle classes during this period and a movement away from collectivism. Conversely, however, sections of the middle and upper classes remained more conservative in their values and sought to remain with religious organisations that chose not to promote change but to preserve the status quo. This can be seen in the USA, with Republican voters opting for more conservative approaches to social change on issues such as abortion, women's rights, and same-sex relationships. It can be argued that in the postmodern era, the middle classes in particular embrace ideologies of individualism, and this led to a spread of religious diversity. The increased choice of religious and spiritual movements can be seen as a result of increased individualism, more choice, and distrust of traditional organisations. Furthermore, middle-class affluence has allowed the marketisation of spirituality, and the role of profit-making organisations within the growth of New Age and new religious movements has seen this growth continue. However, this increased choice rarely extends to the lower social classes, who have limited choice beyond traditional religious organisations or localised sects, cults and denominations. In many areas of sociology, there is a debate about the extent to which postmodernity has impacted on the working class. While the middle class are presented with more opportunities, the working class are often left to accept the status quo or reject religious belief altogether. Meanwhile, the greater choice available to the middle class, as impacts of consumerism and their ability to afford to choose their religious and spiritual practices, provides them with more choice, for example client cults and New Age movements. While the upper classes remain closely associated with traditional religion as it cements their position in society, with the church remaining closely allied to their personal ideologies. Although within this, it can be argued that there is a decline in the influence of the church over state in recent years, with increasing disagreement between religious organisations and the policies put forward by the government. That concludes this Tutor to You sociology topic video on beliefs in society, focusing on social class and religion. Thanks for watching.